going to show you today are a selection of flowers that I am going to sow. Now, flowers are very important to grow in the garden or in the allotment because they attract the pollinators, so that they can pollinate your beans and any of your other vegetables. They also attract any of the bugs that are going to come, like the ladybirds, and then they'll eat all the aphids. So they are incredibly important to have some flowers on your allotment. Some of these are going to go on the allotment, and some of them are going to go in the little spaces that I have in the garden. You are very welcome to choose whichever flowers you want, but myself personally, I prefer to grow perennials. A perennial is a flower that will, or a plant that will come up year after year after year and will just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And these ones are all hardy perennials. Now, a hardy perennial you can actually, if you want, sow directly outside. However, I'm going to start them in the greenhouse because, and then move them outside when they're a bit bigger, because I feel that the germination rate is usually much better. I've got some beautiful ones here. All of these will attract the pollinators. I've got Aquilegias, Alyssum, that one which I can't read backwards, Delphiniums, and that one which doesn't have a name on the back but has a name on the front. These will be absolutely wonderful and will give so much colour to the garden. Now, the Aquilegias are just lovely. You can start all of them inside, that's not a problem. And it's very easy to save the seeds of the Aquilegias. They do self-seed themselves, which means that when the flower is gone and the seed head has gone brown, they will just sort of basically pop. And then they'll scatter the seeds all over the place. So they come in all sorts of different colours, but these are beautiful. But I'm just going to show you how to sow one of these because all of them will be sown in exactly the same way. But I will show you each seed as I come across them. So here I've got one of my trays. There are drainage holes in both sides. So I'm going to sow one lot of seeds in one and one lot of seeds in the other. So just fill each side practically to the top with just normal multi-purpose compost. If you want to start these inside, you can start them sort of early March time. It's actually very early March, it's the 4th of March today. If you want to start sowing them outside, I would suggest that you left it until about early May. Okay, because then the nights are just a little bit warmer. So once you've filled your tray, just give it a tap down and then give your compost a water. We need to make sure that the water goes through, and then we can start sowing the seeds. Now, these are the Alyssum. They're little brown seeds. They're sort of round circular, but they're flat. Alyssum is, I think it's lovely. The one I've got here is actually yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently sprinkle all of the seeds on top of the compost, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, because the seeds are very tiny, you must be very careful the amount of compost you put over the top. So just a gentle amount over the top. Make sure that you don't have any big chunky bits of compost that go over the top, because they'll stop the seeds from coming through. Okay, and then once you've done that, just gently move it about just to level it off. So that's the Alyssum, and now I'll do the Aquilegias on the other bit. Now these are the Aquilegia seeds. Again, they're very tiny, but they produce the most beautiful seeds ever.
Okay, so I'll just sprinkle those on. These are the Armeria seeds. There aren't many here, but this Armeria, it's a very low growing plant, and it has the flowers are sort of look like pom-poms, and they come in white, pink and red, so they'll be wonderful to see. But these are very tiny little seeds. Try and spread those out as best you can across the compost, and then very carefully a little bit of compost on the top. The smaller the seed, the less amount of compost you need on the top. And here we've got the delphinium seeds. They're not round, they're quite bizarre shape. They actually look like sort of half crescent moons, some of them. So yes, they're quite weird. I love delphiniums. They come in all sorts of colours. The ones I've got come in whites, lilacs and purples and blues, but they just make the beds just look amazing. I think they're absolutely fabulous. I have had some before, and I think they're still growing in my garden somewhere, but they haven't quite popped up yet this year. So these seeds are quite sizable, so you can put just a little bit more compost on top of them than you have done with the other ones, because the seeds are just a little bit bigger. And finally we've got Alstroemeria. They are a very sort of exotic looking flower, and in fact the seeds look very exotic as well. They're round and they look like they've got tiny little sort of bubbly bits all over them. So they'll be interesting to see how they grow. Now, because these seeds are quite large, you can actually space these apart quite well, and then again sprinkle some compost on the top. You don't have to be particularly delicate with these because the seeds are quite large. So make sure that you label them all, and that's all of them done.
Right, well that's all those 5 packets of seeds now sown. I'll leave them in the greenhouse, keep them in the greenhouse, and hopefully in a couple of weeks they should start to come through the soil. I will show you that when it happens, or I might take a picture and stick it up on my blog so you can see them. I'll put a propagator lid over the top just to give them that extra little bit of warmth, and any stage that comes up with them, sort of repotting or potting out or anything like that, then I will do a video and I will show you that as well. Well, I hope you found that interesting, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.